far. One thing I wanted to ask you,
Yeah.
however, that I noticed, just talking about things we're noticing since Geraerts has taken over, um, does seem to be much more of an emphasis on trying to build out of the back, rather than launching balls forward from Fairman or whoever to kind of launch possession that way.
Yeah.
I think, like, philosophically, I'm biased towards that. I mean, I think everybody as a fan kind of has their own personal football philosophy in terms of what they like to see, what they like to do.
Yeah.
I've never really taken time to like kind of write mine out or like clearly define everything, but like that's generally something I tend to be a fan of or favor stylistically, um and so I feel like I have a bias towards wanting Geraerts to do that and liking it when I see it. However, one of the things I think that calls into question potentially, if you are going to try to play that way and have the team build out the back that way, is there's going to be a little bit of Schallenberg on the ball in trying to distribute stuff. Now, if that's like a 2017 Max Meyer in that kind of holding midfield role, playing that way, I have no issue with that at all. I probably love that.
Yeah.
But I was interested in your thoughts on whether or not you noticed that kind of change in emphasis, and also like how you thought Schallenberg did. If there's anybody else that you would potentially prefer back there, maybe Danny Latza once again doesn't have the physicality or the range or anything, can't really like do the defensive job. It's kind of an issue. Anyway, open floor.
Yeah, I mean, Schallenberg, you want him in there just because his skill set at the moment. If looking on the bench, who could bring in there? I mean, really, the only other guy that I would want on the ball, and he's already in the starting 11, is Templeman. I'd like to see him drop back more. Now, that might take away from his presence on the offensive side, which lately in the last couple of weeks has been pretty obvious. But yeah, I think it's just an adjustment. I have noticed it, like as you said. What I've also noticed is that the center backs are not quite familiar on how to do it, even though we've done it for a while. It seems like not to this extent. Kaminsky came in a short pass and kind of gave a breakaway in the last game. Kalash has made some mistakes with his passing, where it was in the Pokal game, or I forget what game it was, where Kalash had a bad giveaway. Baumgartel's done it. Matriciani's done it now. So they're not used to this passing back to the goalkeeper.
Yeah, they're uncomfortable for sure.
Yeah, and so what we see is that they got to get used to it quickly, because you have to rely more on the defensive midfielder to help out with Schallenberg. I think a guy like Templeman or maybe even a Drexler are better suited for something like that. But again, you don't want to take that away from their offensive output by bringing them in so deep. And Schallenberg really should fit there. But yeah, I don't know how that's going to work out with Geraerts. I'm sure he'll try to figure this out. But maybe it's involved, involving Oyan a little bit more. Oyan's pretty decent on the ball, so maybe they kind of have to rely on coming on the left side and then moving back centrally. I don't know, but yeah, I'm happy that we're going with this playing out of the back, because one of the things we've been griping on, and I know I have, is those long ball giveaways. We're just carelessly giving the ball away with those long balls, because Toronto's not good at getting the balls. Poulter's okay with it. Karaman and Lasso seem to be decent with it, but we always seem to just lose the ball. Anytime we kick it away, it's the other team gets the ball. And so the longer we can keep possession, the better chance for us, and better chance that they're not going to have the ball to score. So I'm obviously for
it. You're not going to get as tired, offensively when you're chasing people around all the time. So you can extend those possessions a little bit, even if you have trouble building that way. You know what I mean? Once you get like to the midfield line in the final third, but if you can kind of start that way, you extend the life of some of those possessions in the early cycles at least. Maybe that helps out a little bit. But yeah, we'll have to see overall. Galaxy brain play Matriciani at central defensive midfield when Bruno comes back in.
Yeah, it could be.
No, that's fine. I thought Schallenberg was okay. I think part of my frustration in this game was there were actually some decent runs that were made forward in front of us.
Yeah.
And I felt like so many different players, they cannot play through balls that are not in the air.
Yes.
Everything is sort of like curling little, like kind of like chip lofted balls that are not accurate. And like, can't anybody have, the technical ability to just kind of like whip these low on the ground passes, like with pace through, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
there's a number of opportunities. Lazo made some nice runs that weren't rewarded in others. And that was kind of a frustrating piece to me too. And I noticed that in like build up sometimes we're building out the back when like he finally gets to Schallenberg and he does something. He played some of those, kind of the weird like curler forward balls that just didn't find anybody. So anyway.
Yeah, hopefully we improve on that front at least.